Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
And we give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite sports icons and athletes. I'm Boom Gonzalez. In tonight's game plan, we'll have basketball analyst Mikey Reyes and Nuggets superfan Chris Newsom talking about Denver's championship. Plus, we'll get some updates on Gilas Pilipinas.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Well, now that the Denver Nuggets sealed their first ever championship, the next step is replicating it. Now, can they do just that? That is the question. Now, joining us to look into Denver's future, again, is NBA Hype host Mikey Reyes and the most in-demand Denver Nuggets fan in the Philippines, NBA Philippines All-Star analyst, Chris Newsom. Chris,
one of one.
One of one.
Everybody wants a piece of you now.
One of one.
Hey,
Everybody wants a piece.
it's been a long time. I've celebrated a lot of everybody else's championship. I've talked about it, analyzed
Come on,
it all.
guess me.
It is my turn. Thank you. It was a great finals, but hey, I'm just happy we got our first championship.
No, I mean, everyone's happy for you. We were at a viewing party, actually. I was with Chris, and everyone was congratulating Chris Newsom as if he were a Denver Nuggets player. First of all, a lot of people will be wondering, why? Why Denver for you?
Right?
Yeah, give us your origin story on that one.
I got you, right? So growing up, I always loved watching basketball. And where I'm from in New Mexico, there's not a major sports team. So you have to go to the nearest major city. And for me, that would either be Phoenix, Denver, or San Antonio, or Houston, and now OKC. But growing up, I had some family that lived in Denver. I would frequently go up to watch them. And or to visit them, and they brought me to my first Nuggets game, and it was against the Phoenix Suns. That was the time of Amari and Steve Nash, but I got to see Carmelo, I got to see Marcus Camby, Kmart, J.R. Smith. These are all guys that really, they kind of took me in as a basketball player to see the type of energy that they had, right? And so from there, I was like, okay, I like the Nuggets. Seeing the Pepsi Center at the time.
Right.
And so that's how big of a fan I am. Right? And then, years later, I graduate high school and I go into playing college basketball. And one of the schools we play is Metro, who play literally right across the street from the Pepsi Center. And so I always see the Pepsi Center. I always dream about being in the Pepsi Center. And one of my favorite players of all time moved to the Denver Nuggets, which was Allen Iverson.
Oh, that's right.
So, I was a big AI fan. Once he moved to the Nuggets, solidified it all.
Yeah, it was all there. It was all there.
Melo, Iverson.
And obviously, this is such a big deal, the championship and all that, because it is really a football town more than it is a basketball town. So congratulations for that. I just want to segue real quick, Paulo, if you will allow me.
Sure.
Because Mikey is a big Jimmy Buckets guy.
Yeah, no, I was going to bring that up, yeah.
So, I know the concentration of this conversation will be on Denver, but you can air it out here. What are your thoughts on him hobbling throughout the finals?
Michael Jordan is not the dad.
The rumor is untrue. The rumor is untrue.
But it hurt. I just felt like they were just unmatched. They were just dominated on both ends. And you could see that kulang lang talaga. That was just the main. Every time you would watch a Nuggets Heat game, that's all you could say. Talagang kulang, talagang masyadong malakas. Hopefully, the Heat retool. I mean, it was a good story. It was a good run because all the undrafted players. It was a great run. But when you get to, playing the number one team in the league with those many superstars, it was tough. And I can't blame Jimmy, but he's definitely not the son.
No, not the son for sure.
Put that rumor to bed.
Yeah,
all right.
100%.
Okay, now, thanks for airing it out.
Nalabas ko naman.
And of course, Chris, you are the Nuggets historian in the country, right? So by de facto. But a lot of people, so you win a championship, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the greatest team that the franchise has ever come up with. In your opinion, though, is this the greatest Denver Nuggets side out there? You mentioned a really great one a while ago with Melo. Yeah, 08 was really great.
It's hard to say because, of course, the championship kind of solidifies them as, the greatest Nuggets team in history by the book.
Yeah.
But when you look at rosters, I think the main difference is Jokic. The previous teams didn't have Jokic. They had great and talented players. They had Carmelo Anthony, who's, one of the greatest scorers in the NBA. And they had even really good pieces around them. But you got to remember, their matchup was Shaq and Kobe. And so when you're running into that type of power, it's going to be really hard. And you can tell that the Lakers were essentially the dominant team, the team to beat. And so to build a team that is equipped to beat them is really, really hard. So I think this is a mix of having the right pieces around your all-star and good timing as well, because matchups.
You know, Pat Riley always talks about the disease of more, right?
Yeah.
And now that's what they're looking at. Mikey, this is a great core. Talk about how they played in the finals and talk about how you are looking at them in the future, complementing that two-player combination of Murray and Jokic.
Well, I feel like there are two types of champions. The champions that win it, but you don't really see them like winning a lot of them. Mga nakalusot lang.
One-time deal. Okay.
But with this, with the generational talent like Jokic, like you gotta figure him out during the summer. There are teams that win the chip, but you can stay the same team and compete again next year. But now I'm sure teams are like, how are we going to match up against Jokic? How are we going to defend that two-man game? How are we going to defend that two-man game along with all those shooters and all those scorers around them? So, sometimes you see championship teams that can actually create a dynasty, and I'm sure that's what they're going for.
But what do you feel do they fall under?
They can.
They can.
They definitely
You're
can.
there.
With Jokic, I mean, too much. Too much.
That's true. But Chris, you take a look at let's take a look at a recent champion here, like the Milwaukee Bucks. When Giannis got injured, especially in that first round against the Miami Heat, everything kind of fell apart. Do the Nuggets have a bit of safety here around Nikola Jokic to still be a championship contender if he's not 100%, in your opinion?
At not 100%, it's definitely going to be tough, because I think that's their biggest advantage, that he is able to be so efficient near the basket and finish at such a efficient rate that it's really hard to do. So you really have to double team him, make him get rid of the ball. If he's not operating at 100%, I think that might change his game a little bit. He might be a little more tempted to take those outside shots and settle a little more. But the Nuggets, not 100%. Even whenever it is Jokic and it's Jamal Murray that's not 100%, they still struggle. So I think they need all the pieces. Yeah, their team chemistry was really, really on point this year. And I think them being healthy for once was the big factor in this. And, I think they can definitely run it back. Maybe next year, maybe the year after that. They're already starting to make moves. They had a trade in the middle of the finals, which is really rare. So that shows that they're kind of forward thinking.
And maybe also Michael Malone putting it out there during the awarding ceremony also is, subtly telling the owner, this is what I want. You got to give me my weapons. And speaking of Mikey, and chime in please, Chris, the job of Michael Malone here, not just in the finals, but throughout the whole year. To win a championship, health is a big thing.
Yes, definitely.
Luck, there has to be some sort of luck there too, but the coaching was solid for it.
Oh, for sure. He showed us that he can compete in the finals. And I also want to commend the management, because there are only a few coaches that stay for longer, 7 years now?
Stay patient.
Exactly, Eric Spoelstra, him, Greg Popovich. So I feel like it was a team championship, including the management, including the fans who were there supporting no matter what. So, Michael Malone really showed that he can, because Eric Spoelstra was getting all the attention of how he led those undrafted players to the
magical
exactly.
Run,
so I think Michael Malone really showed up.
Can I quickly ask Chris, just of this trend of all of these coaches getting championships and getting fired, do you think Michael Malone is going to be an exception, or you just don't know still?
I do not think he's going to get fired.
It's a valid question.
It is a valid question.
The past few years.
The history has shown, right?
But
it's been pretty
Frank
wild.
Vogel.
Frank, Doc Rivers.
Oh my goodness.
I would like to
Coach Leo Austria.
see him. I would love to see Coach Mike Malone stay. That would be amazing. I think the whole organization believes in him.
Yeah.
And it shows for him being there for so long that they truly believe in what he's doing and the type of culture that he's building. So I would love for him to stay and break that curse.
I like how we're considering him as at risk at the moment.
Right?
But it's weird. It's really weird. Pero Mikey, it's still on Coach Michael Malone. Is he now in the same breath as an Eric Spoelstra? Maybe even a Greg Popovich. I know they're serial winners. But then with what he's done with this Nuggets team in the way that he did it, are we now going to elevate him into that pantheon of great coaches?
I think not yet at a Greg Popovich level, but definitely, joining maybe Doc Rivers with one, those championship teams with one. But it's not a knock on him, but
there's still a long way to go.
Long way to go.
All right, Chris, NBA, you cannot stand pat. You cannot stay even, Golden State.
They got KD.
They always make changes or adapt or tweak. What do you think? Even as you saw them win the championship, what do you think? Do they still need to add, knowing that the West is always competitive?
I would think a nice backup for Jokic would be nice. Because if he gets in foul trouble, which he did
Not like
a few
DeAndre
times,
Jordan.
It's hard to replace somebody like that. So I think having a big that can kind of do a little bit of what he does, and you don't have so much of a drop off when he's out the game, I think that would complement the Nuggets really.
Who could that be?
Who
If
can
there's
that
anybody
be?
like that, they're probably going to another team.
Who is that? Right? Who could that
Same.
And that's the amazing part about the Nuggets is
It
because
is.
they get talent that nobody else is really looking for. These are all homegrown people, right? Except for Aaron Gordon, who got traded.
Right.
But other than that, everybody was drafted, and they've even given up solid draft picks. We had Spider Mitchell actually at one point.
Yeah,
and
Donovan
Gobert.
and Rudy Gobert.
And Gobert, right?
I just want to say this before I leave.
Congratulations.
We're hoping the trend continues. First time championships, franchise history.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Meralco would look good.
That would be really nice. Looking forward to it.
You both have to come back for a different
So
episode.
different conversation for
Mikey,
sure.
thank you very much, and we will see you around. That's for sure. In the meantime, after the break, Chris Newsom will still be with us as we talk about Gilas Pilipinas and the FIBA World Cup. Stay tuned. You're watching the game. Welcome back. You're still watching the game. Gilas Pilipinas is getting ready to face some of the best talents in the international hoop scene as they gear up for the FIBA World Cup. And of course, we still have with us Chris Newsom to change costume and bust out the all-important part of the costume.
Of course, that gold medal, hard-fought, hard-won in what was a cauldron in Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
Oh, you guys were there.
Yeah.
You know, please tell us about that. Oh, no, we'll delve into that.
Yeah.
All right.
And of course, let's focus first on how the team has come together. Obviously, the practices haven't been full yet. Reports of saying that there's been around 10 players coming in for the training so far. But coming fresh off the Southeast Asian Games, how does it feel to still be continuing repping the Philippines jersey?
Man, it's always an honor to be able to represent the country, to wear Pilipinas, to have that jersey, just even attending the practices and just being a part of that organization. You know, it's a feeling that I never want to take for granted. And, you know, this was an opportunity that just recently came upon me. And, you know, so I'm taking it with everything that I have, you know, so.
Yeah, and you're part of that list that we have there,
Yeah.
the pool for the FIBA World Cup 2023. And
Yes,
it's
sir.
such a talented list.
Stacked.
It is,
right.
it is.
And you do have practices, right? Like you said, right
We
after
do.
the show, you're going straight there. If you guys notice that he's slouching a bit, it's just a bit heavy. The jewelry is a bit heavy for Chris. So he apologizes for slouching. Who are you excited to face if you do make the lineup?
I would have to say Italy, because I know Paolo Banchero might have a chance of playing for them, and I think it would be a great test to match up against the newly crowned Rookie of the Year. And, you know, just to kind of see where the future of the NBA is headed. It's always nice to compete against the best, and I think he's one matchup I would love to try to get.
A lot of fans obviously are worried with the poor lack of attendance recently, but then things are going to ramp up really quickly. If I'm not mistaken, you're going to have a camp as early as this weekend before flying off to Europe. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. We have a training camp at Inspire, and I think we're going to be all systems go whenever it comes to that. All the guys that have injuries, their timetable is to be for this training camp in Inspire, so that way we have a little bit of chemistry together. We have our legs under us by the time it's time for us to head out to Estonia.
I'm always interested to find out. Obviously, it's a great honor to be part of a 21 pool lineup, but you're also kind of competing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell me about your frame of mind in that trying to get a slot.
Yeah, I mean,
With
of course,
friends too.
Yes, we're all good friends.
Right.
You know, we all enjoy competing against each other. You know, we've all went up against each other in the PBA.
Correct.
That happens all the time. But now we're fighting for a slot, which is a bit different. But you can say that everybody's going about it with respect and honor, which is, I think that's the best way to say it, is that we're all competing, we're all trying our best, and we're still respecting each other's games, respecting each other's abilities, and we're doing it, of course, for the honor of the country.
Does it feel like a tryout? Like when you were younger? Does it feel like you were trying out a bit?
Yeah, I got that feeling a little bit, especially on like the first 2 days. Boss Al Panilla comes in and he gives us the talk that this is one of the biggest events that will be held in the Philippines for a long time, and so this is something that is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And so whenever you hear those words, you're definitely saying like, yeah, I want to be a part of that.
We have time for one last question, so I want you to encapsulate the experience in Cambodia from start to finish, including everything that you had to face, and then winning that medal.
Yeah, Cambodia, that was definitely a grind. Of course, you were there. You felt the conditions and how it was there, and so many things. Yeah, that's a great video, and I didn't know that was happening because at the moment it was just really hot, and like your body kind of overheats, especially after you're playing, a really intense matchup. And so, that's me leaving it all out on the floor.
Literally.
This was a knockout matchup against Indonesia. So really, if we don't win that game, doesn't even give us a chance to get to the gold medal. But there was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of things that we had to go through as a team. And I think overall that made our bond stronger, knowing that we had to go through this in order to get this gold medal. And that was the goal from the get-go, was to bring this gold medal back to the Philippines. And we can say it was mission accomplished. And now we're getting ready for bigger and better things, which is FIBA World Cup.
Thank you very much for doing what you do, representing us and going through all of that adversity. You for the coverage, you for the game. We appreciate it.
Yes,
and
sir.
good to see you. Congratulations for that and the championship
Thank you.
for the
Thank
Denver
you.
Nuggets. Good to
Yes.
see you, man. We'll see you soon.
It's been great.
It has been great. Chris Newsom, everybody. Now, in the meantime, this is your chance to support the Philippines in the FIBA Basketball World Cup of 2023. Buy 5-day passes at 20% off with this Independence Day World Cup promo package, available from June 12 to June 16. Tickets are available at philippine.worldcup.basketball.
After the break, we'll find out about the biggest basketball training camp getting set to tour the Philippines in 2023. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. For PBA superstar Paul Lee, his hoop journey started as a kid who had a dream to make it to the pros. Now, 3 PBA titles later, the lethal weapon is now giving back to aspiring hoopers looking to follow in his footsteps. Let's watch this.
Right, left, and then go through. This is a skills training camp, a 2-day basketball skills training camp that focuses to nurture, to train, and to equip the talents and the potential of the youth. The target of this camp is to go to different places in the country, different cities, municipalities, wherein we can discover and we can find talents, potential talents that we can help to bring into collegiate schools and to become pro players someday. I'm very happy to partner with Managers Camp, probably the biggest basketball camp this year since we are going all over the Philippines to share the knowledge of basketball. Gusto talaga natin is makatulong sa bata, especially not everyone attending this camp is naka-attend na. This might be their first camp and we want to try our best to share our knowledge not just with basketball but with values in life.
Sobrang importante, no? Lalo na dun sa mga willing matuto talaga mag-basketball. Mas maganda na masimulan natin ng proper at kung ano yung tamang fundamentals. So, importante yun sa basketball na malaman mo yung fundamentals talaga. Kasi nung time ko, naalala ko, wala naman akong sinasalihan na camp na ganito. And bihira yung mga basketball camp nung time ko, nung bata ako. So, napaka swerte ng mga bata ngayon at nagkakaroon tayo ng mga ganitong programa. And yun nga, gusto ko na sana gusto kong ma-share yung naging path ko going to the PBA, kung nasan man ako ngayon. Gusto kong i-share sa kanila kung paano ako nakarating dito. Kasi I think isa sa malaking bagay yun para sa isang player na magkaroon sila ng guide at malaman nila kung ano yung mga key or mga kailangan nilang gawin para makuha na yung mga pangarap nila. Nagpapasalamat ako dun sa mga parents na talagang sinuportahan nila yung mga anak nila. And yun nga, sa mga bata na sumasali dito sa camp is i-cherish lang nila tong moment na to and isa puso nila, isa isip nila yung mga tinuturo sa kanila dito. Kasi yung camp naman hindi araw-araw yan eh. So ang importante pa rin dyan after dito sa camp na to, kung ipagpapatuloy ba nila yung gagawin nila sa sarili nilang court, ayun yung pinaka-importante doon. Kailangan yung continuation ng mga natutunan mo dito sa camp. So ayun, sana mag-enjoy sila dito sa camp na marami silang matutunan. And good luck sa kanila and sana maging magaling sila lahat paglabas dito sa camp.
For those who want to enroll on our future camps, they can visit our official Facebook and Instagram page at Managers Camp _PH. So we have different legs are coming in different parts of the country. So looking forward to meet our future basketball players.
1, 2, 3.
Good job, everyone.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
And I'm Paolo De Rosario. This has been The Game.